Big Pharma writes the script. It's time to believe. Biohack. Become.
We're here to explore the truth about healing that exists outside the broken medical system, to give you the knowledge, the community, and the strategies you need to become the hero of your own health story.
Your guide is a biohacking entrepreneur, a near-death survivor, and a cancer warrior navigating his own healing journey. Founder of Biohackingville, Exodus Strong and QE Strong. Your host, Rob Renee. This is Biohackingville, where the medical system has failed us. One man is leading the rebellion to reclaim.
Hey everyone, this is Rob with Biohackingville Podcast. So excited that you're here, but man, I'm not as excited to have you here as I am to have Julie here. Julie, how are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How about you?
I am great. Julie Alsaker is amazing. You just heard her intro, so I'm not going to repeat it, but she's got Lux Bioanalytics, is that correct? And she's just doing amazing things. So this is going to be a fun episode because you're going to learn a lot about genetics and about things of how she treats people. It's really unique and it's awesome, and I think you're going to learn a ton. Julie, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, we're going to have a blast. Give us a quick intro to yourself and about Lux and what you're up to.
Absolutely. So my name is Julie Alsaker, and I am a holistic genetic specialist. And I actually have several different titles that all really matter when it comes to the analysis that I do. So I'll just throw some out there. I do the genetics. I'm a functional blood specialist. I'm a traditional naturopath. I do orthomolecular facial analysis. I do emotion code work. I'm not certified in that. The other things I have certifications in. I am certified in holistic nutrition and fitness. So over the last 25 years, I have collected a lot of information and a lot of certifications. However, most of my time was spent working in mainstream medicine as a medical sign language interpreter. So I ran two parallels until about 5 years ago. I removed myself from mainstream medicine and I started a full-time practice helping people essentially find answers. So I'm the person, I was a kid that would always say, but why? But why? But why?
Good for
and
you.
I believe to my core that there is an answer for everything. So I have become the person that when people are experiencing mystery symptoms or everything is normal, but they don't feel normal, they come to me, and primarily I glean a lot from genetics, but I can look at the blood work and all these things, and the body simply communicates. And my husband gets frustrated when I say it's so easy because he goes, it's not easy.
Right.
I'm like, oh, if everything could just be as easy as genetics and blood work. And yet it's just because somewhere in my brain, God gave me this ability to see the outliers. It's not about what is obvious, it's what's about obvious to me. And I just connect these dots and it makes sense. And when it makes sense, it goes, well, of course it makes sense. Because our body's designed beautifully. And there's always an answer. And if we haven't found the answer, it means either the technology isn't there yet or we haven't looked in the right place. So we just keep looking. So that's what I do with each person that comes to me. I can't really say, this is my process, because my process is so individual. With one person, they might come in and I might sit with them for 3.5 hours while they just have to tell their life story, because that's the beginning of what they need to do. Another person wants to start out just talking about their blood work, and everything will come at the time that it's supposed to come for that person.
That's beautiful. I love that you're treating people, holistically. That's a big part of my experience, is that the people that the current healthcare system is too specialized, right? It's like that you're specialized in helping with my right earlobe, that you're a specialist instead of someone's going to help me with my entire body. I love that about you and what you're doing. And I'd love to dig into the number of things. One, I didn't know anything about the facial thing. What was the facial thing?
Orthomolecular facial analysis. And it's really interesting because it's looking at wrinkles as communication.
Wow.
Versus just aging. I'm actually, that's the working title of my book right now, of my 5th book, is it's not just age. So So we'll see if I stick with that.
Ah, that's fun. But my main thing I wanted to talk to you about was the genetic works that you're doing, because that's so fascinating to me. It's something just in the last couple of years that I've been looking at to and learning and listening and trying to understand. And my gosh, to me, it's super complicated. I don't get it. I love that it's simple for you, right? I'm like with your husband. I'm like, what the heck? How could you figure that stuff out? I am fascinated just to learn more about what do you do from a genetics perspective, and what are the terms, and how do you explain it to a lay person like myself, and then what can you do with it? So let's just start off with the basics.
So I'll start by saying that as I approach genetics, I do approach it from the concept of, that when you use a fire extinguisher and you spray towards the fire, towards the base of the fire, that the fire goes out. Now, I'm not going to be able to name every chemical component of the spray or the names of every chemical interaction between the fire and the spray. Nonetheless, I know that when you use this is the result. So that is one of the ways that I approach the genetics. Is I learned that this is the function of this gene. Okay. If you have a variant in the gene, this is the physiological mechanism that tends to be impacted, and here's the natural way that we can support the body to naturally overcome this or support it. So if you want me to draw out a chart on the methylation process, which is very complex, I'm not going to be able to do it. If you want me to support your methylation process, so you have your energy back, so your brain fog is gone, so you can lose weight, so you can overcome disease, so that you can improve your immune system, easy peasy. So right. It's about, and I think this is where people get lost. They're like, oh, gee, it's just too complicated. I can't ever do that. Even practitioners, because I'm telling practitioners, learn this. Like, just pick up a book and just learn what the functions are of these genes, because then you are going to change the speed of the outcome. And that's the big thing. If you're dealing, I brought up methylation because that's the big thing in my life. And
yours personally, is that what you mean?
Personally, my genetic.
Okay, gotcha,
yeah.
Gotcha.
And methylation is, to simplistically put it, is the process in your body that turns genes on and off. Let's just pretend that they turn on and off. We'll ignore the dials. Right now, we're just going to go with switches.
Okay.
It turns the genes on and off. So if you have a tumor that you don't want to grow, you want your body to turn on the tumor suppressant gene. Right. If you want your immune system to produce a specific type of white blood cell so that it will fight this specific type of virus that needs a specific, right? There's all these specifics, and the body can turn on what's needed and turn off what is unnecessary or even will cause harm. So when you have a system that's broken, then the genes are not going to be turning on and off the way that they should be. And so you have a foreman of a construction site that is sleeping 40% of the time. And the workers are all there, and maybe even the resources are there, but the building isn't happening. Or it's happening incorrectly because the person that is supposed to be there is saying, hey, we're not doing that. We have to do this first. If you're doing it out of order, it's going to cause chaos. And the issue is that people have this from the moment they're born.
Wow.
So whether it's oxidative stress, whether it's a methylation cycle, whether it's your ability to detoxify, all these things, we can have a general idea of how your unique body is going to handle these systems that have to happen in order for you to live exceptionally well. We can know it from the day you're born, and then implement the knowledge that we have. Nature, medicine, all the things. We can implement what we know to support it from the day you're born.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So that's why it's so important to do some genetic testing. Obviously, there's lots of things we can talk about with what you do. You have so many specialties and things that, with the, like you mentioned, with the blood work and the genetics work and the facial wrinkle recognition. It's like, what the heck, Julie? You're amazing.
And colors, right?
You don't have any.
I got super red. I don't. But if you're super red in your cheeks, that's some inflammation that you want to deal with. So.
I love it.
On the liver.
This is fun. So how people get started, like with genetic testing? I know a lot of people in the patriot world were scared to death of the 23andMe people.
Yes.
You're sending in your genetics, and they're going to give it to the evil people, and they're going to take over the
Yes.
world, and all those types of things people were freaked out about. How do we
And
make it?
that's a really important consideration. There's a couple things to keep in mind. We can across the board keep everything so that we are not at risk of having our biological data stolen. And at the same point in time, if they really want yours specifically, if they really want it, they're going to go out to your trash can and they're going to have it in 4 seconds. And then you're not going to have the benefit of this important information that I like to compare to, because I've worked with blood work before I did the genetics, and then the naturopathy before I did the blood work. And it's like when you go to an optometrist and he goes, is 1 better or 2? 1 or 2? And every time they click, things get more clear and more clear. And then all of a sudden, that tiny line that was impossible to understand is now clear as day. And that's what adding genetics did for my practice, is it made it as clear as day. So you can avoid them having your genetic data, but then you're also refusing the opportunity to accelerate healing and protect your future. So are you really protecting your future? Now, I'll also throw this out there, and it might be a little bit spicy, but the same people often that are saying, I don't want them to have my information, are also eating McDonald's and drinking, and you are going to end up in their system. So it's one thing if you're biohacking, you're doing all this stuff and you're keeping all your data private, but if you're living an unhealthy life and you're saying, I'm going to keep my information so they don't have it, well, they're going to get it because you're going to be there.
That's so true. And then I'm assuming you can do some little tricks, like have your DNA done with an assumed name and maybe an assumed address that it goes to.
Yeah,
something like that.
The DNA company that I use is, and I've reviewed many dozens of, there's a lot of DNA companies out there right now. I always look at the report, and because I use the raw data. The report is useless to me, but the report is really important for the end user. I want them to be empowered when they hold the report, not confused, right? I also want them to have a good amount of data, not too little and not too much. Both are available, like way too much and way too little. So I have a company, 3x4 Genetics, is the one that I personally use in my practice. I don't get any kickbacks. All the other ones, I'd make money off of them if I use them. I don't make anything off of 3x4, and I still choose them every time because their report is so user-friendly. They have a very good amount of actionable, we call them SNPs. So this will just be some terminology. So you have your DNA strand, a section of the DNA is a gene, and a specific point on that DNA when you have the letters, the nucleotides, when one is switched out, we call it the SNP, so single nucleotide polymorphism. So there's supposed to be a C there, but a T showed up. And we know through research, and so all of this is based on research, and we take what we know to be the most reaffirmed evidence. Across the board, everybody agrees this is what we see every time with this variant in the letter. I don't test self-decode. Self-decode, you get 800,000 SNPs or more. Overwhelming. I've used it for a couple people just for fun. It was really fun for me. It was really overwhelming for the consumer, which is why I don't do that anymore. Because they're like
800,000 anything is a lot.
Right, and some of them were, well, we think in this SNP, this variant might mean this. There's some evidence. I don't want to deal with the some and the maybe. I will if there's a really unique case that we couldn't solve, but we've been able to solve everything with just the 168 that I get from 3x4. The other thing with 3x4 is I have personally met and spoke with the CEO and the CSO. I don't know all their titles. Nonetheless, it's similar to working with you, right? I will recommend Exodus till the cows come home.
God bless
One,
you.
it works, and two, I know you and I trust you. If there's a really great supplement out there, but I intuitively go, this is not somebody I want to be aligned with, then I'm going to go find another great supplement because, yay, natural healing, there's thousands of options for us.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's important to have the whole package, which you guys have. 3x4 is the same.
Awesome.
It's a trustworthy company. It's a trustworthy process. It is trustworthy results. And I have my brother, he was just recently on the news this week. He's a cybersecurity expert, and he was dealing with some issue in our state at our government. And he used it with his name. Now, I've had other people, and they love when I do this, but I've had other people use pseudonyms, and then I have it checked here, and then I send it to them, they send it back to me, and then I send it in. We can do it, but they don't keep your name connected. You become a number. Okay. Sometimes I sign. Sorry. I was a sign language interpreter.
No, you're fine.
So you
I just thought you were using your hands. I didn't know you were actually signing.
Those are signs. People think it's gesture a lot, but I'm ending up signing. Nonetheless, the point being that even my hyper cybersecurity aware brother,
he was comfortable enough to do it.
He goes, he researched them. He's, we're good.
Oh, awesome. Good. I like that a lot. So one of the things you did mention was the SNP thing. So that is something I've heard before, and you explained it, but I still want you to explain it again, because that is something I think that's important for people to understand. Is a lot of what you're doing is you get all these 164 things, right? And are those SNPs that you're getting?
Yeah. So we call it a SNP, SNP, SNP.
Okay.
We call it the SNP, and it is the location on the gene where the letters are found.
Okay.
And for example, I'm trying to think. So there is a gene called the COMT. Okay. And on the report, you're going to see COMT. Then you're going to have a whole bunch of letters and numbers that represent the location on that gene where they found that variant.
Oh, wow.
So each gene can have thousands upon thousands of SNPs.
Okay.
So we're not looking at, there's a change in this gene. No, there's a change in one tiny spot on this gene, and sometimes that one tiny spot on this one tiny gene has huge impact on your immune system, or on your detoxification, or on your mood and behavior. And these are things that I'll give an example. LEPR gene. That is a gene that helps regulate if you feel full after you eat, right?
Yep.
So when you get the report, I love 3x4 report. I wish I made money on them because I talk about them so much. But nonetheless, they have pictures. They have an pictograph report. And they show you a picture of a plate. Now on that plate is everything from a tiny little chicken drumstick to a plate that is full of food where you can't actually see the plate because the food is falling off. And that is the visual representation of if you have the normal SNPs, or the normal letters that are supposed to be there. Okay. Or it will show if you have what's called a homozygous. So if you have one from each parent, if they both give you a mutation, we call it a variant now because mutation has a negative connotation. Right. So if you get two of these variants, so you have two of the letters you're not supposed to have there, but they're both there. Now all of a sudden you have this plate and all the food is falling off of it.
Oh, wow.
So this is why it's important. My daughter, my youngest daughter, that is her picture. And it's more than just, there's several different SNPs on the LEPR, and so we talk about pathways where sometimes for methylation I'm looking at 13 different SNPs, 13 different genes that will have an impact on this process on the body. So sometimes it's one SNP, but sometimes it's, hey, if you have all these SNPs and you have several that are not in line with what they could be, then you'll have a greater impact. So when she was growing up, she would come up to me and she'd say, Mom, I'm so hungry. Holistic nutritionist. You're not hungry, you just finished eating. Drink a glass of water. Years upon years, I have said this to her. You are not hungry. Now, when I got her genes, she was hungry. She is hungry all the time. She does not get that signal saying, you're full, you're fine. not to anywhere near what I experience. And that is very in line with my husband's lineage with their body types. They are more voluptuous people and not tiny people, right? Their plates, they're always hungry. It is legitimate how they feel. So every
amazing.
time I told her, you're not hungry,
She was.
well, to be honest, I was invalidating her being honest.
Wow.
I was getting mad at her for telling me the truth.
It's natural, right? Because just logically, hey, you just ate, so you can't be hungry. But what's fascinating is that her body's telling her she's hungry. Right?
Yes.
So I guess that's an interesting thing is, okay, so if her body's telling her she's not hungry, but she just ate, does that mean she still needs to eat to not feel hungry?
No, because the body still doesn't need the excess
Right, that's
energy
what I
and
was
excess
thinking. So
reason.
you actually did her a favor in the respect that
I
you
did.
didn't give her more.
However, now when I'm working with her, I'm saying, sweetie, I know you're really hungry. Let's figure out something to do. Usually activity to keep distracted. And then eventually, it's not like she never has any sort of relief from it, but it really is a cognitive training. And this is why so I'm a person that my energy pathway, so for my weight, my genetics lean towards me gaining weight incredibly easy and it being incredibly difficult to take off. That is my life. Up and down in weight, right?
Gotcha.
Not anymore. Not now that I
You figured it out. You're like, I
now
can,
that I
I
have
can
my
handle it.
genetics. I'm 5'3", my brother's 6'5", right? And he's 6'5" and big, and not like he's strong. He's an athlete, right? Even within the same family, the genes can be so vastly different. And so when you have somebody that is saying, all you got to do is eat less and work out more, tell me a person that says that and says your genes don't matter, and I'll tell you that's a person that doesn't know a thing about genes.
Wow, that's fascinating because you're right. When you're learning all these things, you're learning about all natural health and all the things that I've been learning the last 5 years. I'm having a blast and I'm learning a ton. And you're right. I put it in a bucket, right? Hey, in order to get healthy, you need to eat the right nutrition, you need to get the right water intake, and you need to exercise and do all the things. But it's amazing to me that that may not be enough depending upon your genetic makeup and markup.
So we talked about methylation, right? One of the main things that methylation needs to function is going to be your B vitamins, your methylcobalamin, your folate, methylfolate, and your body doesn't get it from food, and even supplements that are unmethylated, or at least not the precursor to the methylated or active. When I say methylated, it means the active version of it that your body can actually use. If you're getting it in the raw, so to speak, something that your body has to convert, and your methylation process is broken, therefore it's not converting it, then you're going to struggle with that weight loss. Now, all of a sudden, if you eat healthy and in good portions, and you exercise, and you take some B12, now all of a sudden, depending on the person's genetics, it might just be B12. They might need some folinic, not folic acid. If you're listening, don't eat folic acid. I'm just going to put a blanket statement for everybody. It's synthetic. There's conflicting research.
And isn't folic acid like in everything? Like in a lot of things, right? Isn't it?
It is in a lot of things. In anything that says fortified, you're likely going to find folic acid. And if you're one of the 44% of people with MTHFR 677, your body is going to have increased brain fog. You're going to have decreased energy, all these things. So there's that.
Okay.
Go to Europe, eat their.
Sorry to interrupt. That was just, I haven't heard of
the
that.
idea, though, is the advice to eat well and exercise, it's really good advice. It's just not the whole picture. Support the methylation that is interfering with the body's ability to process the food that they're eating. That's reducing the energy that they have to even work out or to get results from working out. You give those nutrients, the additional ones, in a form that the body can use. Now all of a sudden, the eating well and working out works.
That is amazing. I love it. I love it. This is so much fun because it's like I'm learning a ton. I've heard a lot about the the MFR gene, which is
Yeah.
I've heard people
Very popular right
call
now.
it what
Yeah.
it stands for, but
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what that meant, and that's just fascinating what you're saying. I need to go get my genetic workup done. I've been talking about it and saying now I'm going to do it and going to do it, and I still haven't done it. So I'm excited because after this I'm going to do it, and then what we'll do is we'll do another episode. And I will share with you my stuff, and you can go actually show us, like, here's your thing, and then that would be super fun. Not trying to get free advice from you, but I think it would be fun to actually see the report and see where I am and the things that I need to do to help, because that's the whole idea of what I'm trying to put together with this Biohackingville podcast, to say, hey, there's so many different things we can do to help make your body amazing, right? It could be fun. But man, this genetic thing is a game changer, right? You are a perfect example of it. It's like you knew all of these things about blood work, and you knew all these things about the holistic health, and trained in functional medicine, and then all of a sudden you add the genetics thing, and then all of a sudden things start coming together, right?
Easy and effortless. Easy and effortless is the best I can say. It is the easy button. And when we talk about all the amazing things that are out there, I have my wearables, I have all my sauna upstairs, right? I've got my vibration plate in the next room, I have a PEMF frequency machine upstairs that I sit, and there's all these fun things. And if I could choose one thing out of the dozens upon dozens, I'm just even looking around my office, all the things, the genetics, I think, and this could be because I'm in love with it. It's my love language. Genetics is my love language. I really think that if I had one piece of information to help heal a person, if I was only allowed one piece of information, I would choose the DNA test. Because you cannot have the root cause without the roots. And with technology today, that is the deepest level that we can go to, that's easily accessible to all of us.
So cool. So cool. Yeah, this is a lot of fun. What else related to genetics? Is there anything else you'd like to talk about related to that? Or is there, because obviously we could talk for hours related to it, but is there anything from a general, just educational perspective to help people understand that you haven't covered? And should we jump onto the next topic, or what do you think?
I would just say with genetics, something that's important is to look at it not just from the research standpoint, is this gene does this, therefore you need this supplement, right? Most people go genetics, supplements. And I like to look at the genetics and go, okay, if this isn't functioning, how is it showing up in my life? How is it showing up in my relationships? Is it affecting how I handle stress? Therefore, am I more snippy? It actually can impact so many different facets and this is why I do holistic genetics, and it's just a term I've coined, because it's not just the supplements. It is the way you think. I have this little guy. I don't know if you've ever followed Bob Proctor at all, but
I haven't.
Okay.
So what does that mean?
Okay.
What is that?
So this is actually from Dr. I think it was Furman. I always forget his name. He's from the 1930s. And it's this idea of you have your conscious, your subconscious, actions, and then results. And then these are the 5 inputs of you taste, touch, hear, feel, smell. So you have your outside inputs, but how 96 to 98% of our 60 to 70 thoughts daily are repetitive. They are the same thoughts we had yesterday and the day before and the day before. And therefore, and they're stored in our subconscious. They're called different things by different people, but I like to use the term that Bob Proctor used, Earl Nightingale uses it, Neville Goddard uses it, and it's the idea of, they call it a paradigm. It's just a habit of thought. And if you have the same thoughts, you're going to have the same actions. Therefore, if you want different actions, you need to have different thoughts. And so we have to take out some beliefs that we have, but you can never just take something out without it growing back. You have to replace it. So my soapbox for the last nearly 30 years has been that refined sugar is toxic. It is bad. I have 6,000 studies showing the different 52 physiological mechanisms that are impaired or affected negatively by consuming refined sugar. And so I'm not against sweets, give me the dates, give me the raw local honey, give me my maple syrup from my brother's trees, right? I'm not against there being sweets on occasion if your energy pathway indicates that you can handle it, because genetics. And at the same time, it is one of the hardest things for people to quit. They'll say, I'm not addicted, but I could never give it up. Okay. So if you are wanting to give something up because you know the evidence is there, you know that you're addicted. Let's, number one, face to face with truth, because we cannot remove an untruth if we don't recognize that it's an untruth. So the idea with this is that you're going to put in a new truth. I go to weddings, I haven't had refined sugar for I can't even remember how many years, right? It's just not even a struggle. And it never was once I took out that that's okay in moderation, huge fat lie. It's okay in moderation. I pulled that out, and instead I put into my head, I am not a person that eats refined sugar, because I am not a person that hurts myself in moderation.
Ah, that's very
and so
good.
Once you implant that new thought habit and you repeat it and you repeat it and you repeat it, now all of a sudden you being the person, even you can even pull the lie out that I'm not a person that could stick to anything. I'm not a person that can make these big changes. And this is me pulling these bad thoughts.
You're pulling those bad
you
thoughts
gotta pull them out, and then you get to put
replace it with a positive one.
Good in, and that has to be repeated. It's a practice. But then all of a sudden, you're not a person that can't commit. You're a person that easily and effortlessly walks past the donuts. You're a person that easy and effortlessly, we don't eliminate, we elevate, right? You don't have to give up your delicious coffee drink. Now you get the organic coffee and you utilize stevia and you use organic heavy whipping cream. I'm not against dairy, depending on sources. Anyway, we can get into minutia.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
You can put in your cocoa powder. I like to put in my organic cocoa and my cayenne pepper.
Yeah, that's what my wife does. Yeah, you must be talking to my wife.
You have a delicious spiced drink that you would normally get at that Starbucks place that would normally impair your immune system. And now you're not only not impairing your immune system, now you are healing your body, because it puts collagen in too. You can fill all the good stuff in, so you're not eliminating, you're becoming a person that elevates.
You know what? I want to just emphasize a couple of things you mentioned, because I literally, personally, have gone through that exact thing. I drank alcohol every day for 25 years, probably. Long time, right? So it was a habit, something I just always did, and I was very functional alcoholic. If you want to call me alcoholic, great, whatever you want to term. I'm 7 years sober, so I'm praise the Lord that I am. But the interesting thing about that is when I did remove that, to me, I'm such a stubborn person. I got well, and I said, I'm going to stop. And then, but what you said is so interesting to me, because when I took that out, guess what I replaced it with?
Sugar.
Yes. Refined sugar. Yeah. So it was such a good thing. It's like, oh man, that tastes great. I love that. It was like, so I took one bad thing out and I stuck another bad one in. It's just like, and now I kick myself because I just 7 months ago had got melanoma, and guess what? Cancer feeds off of refined sugar, right? And so it's like, oh my gosh. So I took that out, and it's been so amazing because I replaced it with healthy foods, and my attitude is like, hey, I'm such a fighter. I'm not gonna lose this battle regardless. And so that was easy for me to just do that. But gosh, you got to be really careful about when you do take those things out. They put the right thing in and not a bad thing. So I just wanted to at least say that. I love that you talked about that, because it's like I am a perfect example of that being 100% true. And I love my sweets. My wife would just laugh because she's, I didn't like sweets when I drank because I didn't really need it. I didn't think I needed it. And then I removed that, and all of a sudden my body says, oh, you're craving something. And that craving something, I put the wrong thing back in. Wow. Yeah, that's actually really amazing. So I love that you said, and I love the power of your mind, right? The mind is so powerful. God gave us this incredible body and a mind that can actually control our body, and it can do things if you give it the right input, right? That's fascinating. So sorry to interrupt. I just wanted
and I'll say that, so I do a 12-week course, and I've been told by business mentors to record it and sell it, but I just have to always do it live. I always have a cohort of people, usually around 10 to 6. I'm at 16 right now, but nonetheless, I try to keep it a smaller group, and I always have to show up live because I always start with the identity work, identity reclamation. So the Geneius method is something that I have developed, and it is a framework, G, starting with grounded awareness. You cannot fix what you don't know is a problem, right? You didn't know that eating refined sugar was a problem. And maybe it was denial. Maybe a little bit you
Yeah,
knew.
it wasn't great, but I didn't know it would be, I didn't know it could kill me.
So you need the identity reclamation that, number one, I'm aware, and then number two, I'm going to become this version of me by behaving like that version would behave. But there's a lot of practice that goes into that because we're not taught to think like that. So now I take that time and yes, I teach the genetics and the blood work and how to eat and how to live and all this stuff. That's part of 12 weeks. But it always starts fundamentally with who are you and who do you want to be? Because if we don't have a beginning point and a destination, you don't have the shortest path. And we want the shortest path because it's fun. It's fun to collapse time. For somebody to say, oh, they told me it was going to take me years to heal from this. And all of a sudden they're 2 to 3 months in and they're not having symptoms.
And they're like, what?
I didn't want to heal fast, but you have to believe it. You have to have the identity. Actually, you get to believe it. You get to have the identity. And then you get to do the things, and they just become second nature. There's no willpower involved. If it's willpower, you're going to lose. Our brain is designed for us to lose when it comes to willpower. It is designed for us to succeed when we become an identity of a person who succeeds.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So it's called the Geneius. Is it technique or what do you call it?
I call it the Geneius method.
Method. Okay, Geneius method.
Grounded awareness, and I don't have this as memorized as I should, but grounded awareness, embodied biology, and that's where we go through all things blood work, genetics, etc., and is nervous system regulation. If you are in fight or flight, your body does not heal. And we are walking around in a very stressful time in the world, and so people, whether they, and this goes back, it all interacts with each other, but you have to be aware of how your nervous system is behaving and then do that. E is emotional alchemy. A lot of people are walking around with residual emotion. So you have the catecholamines, the neurochemicals that help your body experience an emotion. And there is, through our nervous system and through the neurons in our brain, there's the energy component, the protons, neutrons, electrons. We're talking physics here, right? And when the catecholamines metabolize, when the body breaks them down and moves them out, there can be, and this is not accepted by the mainstream, but I have seen miracles with it, that the residual energy can settle in other places in the body. And so I do muscle testing, and it always starts, because I'm a believer, it always starts with a prayer. It is done very, very systematically, but we find where the energy is, we remove it using a magnet. So if anybody's familiar with the emotion code, it's very much a physical process. So we remove the energy, and it is immediate when people experience that emotion being removed.
Wow.
And this is where I encourage people. It's really easy to do all the really widely accepted things like blood work, even genetics. That's really easy to do.
Yep.
It's harder for people to be willing to do the energy and do the emotional part of it, and yet that is how we are designed. We are 99.999% energy and 0.0001% substance.
That is so fascinating.
From a subatomic level, so let's not ignore physics.
Yes.
It gets mind-boggling, and it is provable. So that's why I give that little explanation after emotions, because usually people are like, I'm out.
I know, like literally,
do that.
yeah, people are like, uh-oh, she's going into woo territory. But that's so important because God made our body so incredibly cool and wonderful that no, scientists still haven't figured out everything, right? Which is so neat. The aura and how our energy system works and how it interacts with different
Our frequency being
frequencies.
measurable 9 feet out from our body because of the
And
number
people,
of
when you say
neurons
that, they're like, oh my gosh, you're crazy. And I used to think the same thing. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, come on, give me a break.
I
Right?
will
That's so
always, if
just,
you want to take the long road, you can take the long road. If you want to feel amazing beyond what you ever imagined, then come with me.
there you go. I
So
love it.
that is the emotional alchemy. The I is the identity reclamation, like I talked
Okay.
about. U is unburdening the body. The average adult in America has over 800 man-made chemicals in their body. The average baby is born with over 235 man-made chemicals in the umbilical
Wow.
cord blood.
Wow.
We
Just through their
assault-
mom.
yeah, just through the mom. We are assaulted. I can't go for a walk in my neighborhood without, I'm a canary, right? My genes, I feel, smell, everything. With people that have sprayed their lawns, all of a sudden, boom, I got to come home and detox.
That's
So
amazing.
unburdening the body is taking that low-hanging fruit, the easy
Okay.
stuff. Don't cook on Teflon pans, right? If it's nonstick, switch to stainless steel, switch to cast iron, switch to something that isn't going to inadvertently be poisoning your body because you got enough to deal with without dishing it in yourself. So I teach different ways of how to unburn the body, and then S is soul-led integration. And
Is
that
what?
is soul-led integration.
Very good.
And this is where we have this new identity, we have this new existence, because when you feel this good, all of a sudden you are just drawn to the other group of people. The whole biohacking world, it's a different type of people.
Yeah,
right?
for sure. For sure.
In the best way, because when you have this much energy, I have more energy at 45 than I did when I was in my early 30s. Thank you, genetics, right? If I fix methylation, all of a sudden I've got access to all my energy. But you have this unique group of people with tons of energy, tons of love. Oh, this is a more loving group than I've ever met anywhere else, right? Because we recognize the need for community, the need for connection, the joy we get when we lift other people up. It's a really beautiful community. And so what my favorite part of the soul-led integration is that my clients don't stay my clients. They become my friends because they don't need me anymore. They are now, they know how to stay well. Yeah, I'm there if they have a question, if they need down the road to ask, but my business mentors are always like, you have the worst business model because your people get better. And then, but you know what? I have the best because I have so many amazing friends. I have friends all over the world that I get to go and I get to see them. And yeah, they used to be clients, but that's one of the beautiful things about not being a doctor is as a holistic, natural practitioner, I do Marco Polo with my clients. My one-on-one client.
Oh, is all Marco Polo? Yeah.
They can contact me multiple times a day, and they do. And I will be in my robe with my bed hair, with my makeup from yesterday under my eyes, and I'll answer their questions. I'll connect with them because we are so personal because we get to be. And that's soul-led integration. You just don't care about being perfect anymore. Show up.
Well, that's beautiful. And you're doing things, I think God is going to bless you in ways that you will never understand just because of the heart that you have to help people in that way. Because that's the thing that frustrated me when I started this path about understanding the healthcare system in the United States and how broken it was and how it was taken over in the early 1900s. It was like, when I started learning that, I got so pissed off. Just like, we're not here to help people. Our system is not set up to help people. And that's exactly what you're doing, is you're doing it out of love for your fellow human beings to help them with their health. And you're not about just the money, which is so refreshing. And so thank you so much for what you do, because it lights me up, because I'm just so excited about people like yourself and what you're doing, because it's so fun. The Genius method is phenomenal. And I love that. And I think you're going to do amazing things. And that's really literally why I'm building Biohackingville, is I want this community of people, of like-minded folks who love biohacking. They love learning about all the therapies and all the things, the PMF stuff, the red light therapies, the saunas and the cold plunges and all those things that people are using. But then why, right? Why are people using that? And then to have a place where people can go and just have a community to connect with and talk to is just, I'm so excited about that I think that's why God has me on this earth, is to build this, just so we have this place to go. And it's an exciting group of people. And I just want to bless people. So I'm going to have way too much information in there for people. And it's going to be a really fun place. I'm so excited to have you help me just understand what stuff should I have in there, and just all the genetic information. Where can I get the genetic information to put into my community and all that kind of fun stuff. So just thank you for the collaboration, and thank you for everything that you do. It's just so fascinating. I'm super excited to I'm finally going to get my genetics done. So declaring today, I'm going to go get that done. I've been thinking about it forever, and I just haven't executed. Time to execute, Rob. I'm going to execute. So thank you for everything that you do. Anything else you want to do? We're going to wrap up real quick, but I'm going to make sure people get a hold of you. And how do they take your course? How do they get a hold of Julie? How do they become a client of yours?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a course that I'm doing actually later in August. I'm not sure when this is going to air, but it will be recorded. And it's specifically on methylation, which, whether you have a high impact genetically or not, it affects every human. And it's a way that people can support me for a very low dollar amount. And I will have a code as well that your people will be able to utilize. And it's luxbioanalytics.com/mini course. And it's a live training that I'm going to do. So if they're able to hop on live, and I'll likely do, like I said, I know the recordings are great, and I'm likely going to do more than one time live. So people can be there and ask the questions and go, but what if? Because there's always the beautiful questions that you never anticipate.
Right.
And I love doing it live. I'll be doing that. And that is, like I said, a great way to support what I do, because content creation is a labor of love. Right. And being in an industry that is not covered by insurance, it is an investment for people to move into the small group or into the one-on-one. So I want to do as much as I can to make people able to access really relevant information at whatever budget they're able to. So the luxbioanalytics.com/mini course, or I'm mostly active on Facebook, and that's just facebook.com/julie.alsaker.
Okay, perfect. So I'll make sure we have those links in the show notes so that people can get a hold of you. And then I'm assuming that they can go to Amazon and get your books. Is that, you have 4 books?
I've got a couple out that I'm always feeling like really every single month I'm a new person. There's always so much that happens.
Learn, right?
And so, yes, and so I have a couple collaborative books that I was in that are really interesting. There I wrote a chapter in a few of these international best-selling series. And then I have my books, and then I have a new book that I am hoping to have done by December of this year, and that will be the Geneius method. I will be just providing, here is all the information. Go with God. Like, you have got the information. You can do it all on your own. I love when you come into my world and I get to be with you and help you. And I'm not going to gatekeep information.
That's beautiful. I love it. That's going to be so much fun. I can't wait to get your book. I'll be one of the first people who buy it, and I'm so excited to share that and help the world. So I think, just thank you, Julie. I really appreciate you and all the things that you are and all the things that you do. Any parting words for the community?
Donate sugar. No, just don't do it. Just say no. That's going to be my after school special. Just say no. There's better. You're better.
That's beautiful. You know what's funny though is I literally don't crave it like I used to. I craved it, and now I don't. My wife will go to ice cream, or it's like these places that we always went to, right? And I don't want it. It's just so weird that your body, you can do that to your body, and I don't need it anymore, and it's so strange. Yet it's
a beautiful
I love it.
thing.
So. Anyway, thank you very much for everything you do. God bless you, and may He just bless everything that you're doing. May He bless the Geneius method and the book that you're writing and all your mini courses and all the things that you're doing to help people. So thank you.
Thanks.
All right, signing off from the Biohackingville podcast. Remember, if you have air in your lungs today, God has a plan for your life. Believe, biohack, become.
Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Join the community and get the show notes at biohackingville.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at Biohackingville. Until next time, believe, biohack, become.